Well,
Oh,
I'm asking as a point of order.
So, Madam Chair, would you like me to respond to that?
if you have the regulations in front of you,
Okay.
yes.
Our public comment does not prohibit the members of the Central Committee from commenting. There's nothing on the form. We don't have the form for you now, but there's nothing that prohibits it, because we've had people that are on the Central Committee here in different capacities that have come during public comment to give comment. So like one time, one of the supervisors had to give us information. Yes, she's a member of the Central Committee, but she was here in the capacity as a Democrat, bringing information as the supervisor. So we've never stopped a Central Committee member from giving public comment, and this would be the first time that that occurred. And there's no citation that prohibits it from occurring. Mr. Quinlan, you have enough. I stopped your time when we had this discussion. I'll turn it back to the chair. You have 1 minute and 48 seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Appreciate it.
Time has been reset. Yes, okay.
Okay, so once again, member of the Solano County Democratic Central Committee, AD 11 delegates. And I would like to say that I supported the chair's decision. The first vote, the Saturday vote, was merely a recommendation vote. It was not ratified till the next meeting. And 2 races were pulled from the consent calendar. A lot of folks that spoke here tonight like to say that we were trying to rig the vote. You got outplayed. We had the votes. I'm sorry you feel that way. I realize you guys are all Bob supporters, but things didn't always go the way you like. And I supported Ms. Henley's decision. It was the right decision. Saturday was a recommendation. Wednesday was the ratification. Thank you.
Do we have other comments, public comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have about 5 more minutes left in this section, and I see Nancy Petrowski's hand up. You're recognized.
Yeah, thanks. I just also wanted to clarify. So when we're making comments, we're not supposed to be having conversations with people. We're just supposed to be making comments about what we believe, as far as I know. And so I just wanted to clarify that so that we don't deteriorate into a broader group discussion during the public comments period. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we completed?
I saw a
3
hand
minutes
up.
left.
Yeah, I saw another hand up. Danny, did you want to speak? Danny Espinosa, I saw your hand up.
No, it was an accident.
Okay. Madam Chairs.
Is that it? So we can proceed with the agenda? Move forward? The executive board report, there was no executive board and our chair is not here tonight. Officers report, most of them were given to you and for you to pre-read. And so we move on to the treasurer's report. Yes?
Chair, I think we need to look at Margie's report because there was some info there. I'm not sure if people saw that. Plus also I need to speak to my report.
We haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, with Margie's report, I can't speak for Margie. Okay, and I don't want to get into the secondhand information. But Margie's report was given and submitted to all the members. Are there any comments on that report?
So I have my hand up.
I
am actually Margie's alternate.
Yes.
And so if you need somebody to talk about her report, I can kind of like briefly go through it.
Well, if you want to briefly go through it, but like I said, I can't speak on it because I'm not Margie, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, as her alternate, again, it was sent out on September 21st. Did discuss the 22nd meeting. The endorsement committee was thanked, etc. And during the August Central Committee meeting, some members indicated they had the impression that it was an ad hoc committee reporting or committee meeting, which was not the case. I'm sorry. The ad hoc endorsement committee had the responsibility of planning the special meeting, contacting the candidates, formatting the questionnaires, and scheduling.
Why is this on the screen?
Confusion over, I'm sorry, I think I have the floor. Confusion over the special meeting caused further confusion and conflict at the August Central Committee meeting. Following the meeting, challenges were presented to the State Democratic Party for review. At least 2 challenges were filed. As well, the executive board has requested training on Robert's Rules of Order to help avoid such rancorous meetings in the future. It would also help if everyone would study the bylaws. It is our contract with each other governing how we shall function. And this is, I think, the important part is the election is in 42 days. It is critical that we focus on getting Democrats elected and that we put off any further discussion of the disagreements that we have arising out of that last meeting until after the election and after our training, at which point we'll have the tool back to have a meaningful discussion. So that's, I think that gets to the core of what's going on.
Just of what she said to me as well. Anything else? So we move on to the treasurer's report.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. So I hope you all got my report. There's a few updates. So for instance, we have to or had to get the values of the records we sent to all of our candidates out and filed before tomorrow. But I think we've pretty much got those all figured out. And then there's a few checks coming from Garamendi. And another one that I can't think of off the top of my head that the chair let me know about. Thank you.
You want to get a motion to file your report? Treasurer report?
I would accept the motion. Yes.
So moved. This is Ian.
Lynette seconds.
It's been probably moved and second that we'll file the treasurer's report for audit. Thank you. Next, on the agenda, information officer's report.
Yes. Give me a moment. So just so people know that according to our, hold on. I'm monitoring our YouTube as well as my own thing. But according to our state party bylaws, as well as the state election laws, because many of you are elected members, these meetings are public and they are being broadcast. That is what I put into my report. And because they're being broadcast, because we cannot afford the cost on our Google Drive to store them. So by broadcasting them over YouTube, we are able to, 1, share it with the public, and 2, that's where the storage will be on a system. Second, there was a question about 2 members being eligible to serve that I found whenever I was setting up our contact list within our Google Suites, because I was integrating it with the voter reg information. And I found that Danny Bernardini and Danny Espinosa were not eligible according to the way they were registered to vote at the time. Now, Danny Bernardini has gotten his information from the Solano County voter's office and showed that there was some problem with the record that they had in their database that fed into our PDI. Now, with regards to Danny Espinosa, the data said that he re-registered in Vallejo on July 30th, but now he just recently re-registered back in Fairfield, in the district that he was supposed to be in, that he has been elected to represent. Now, according to state law, the registering from Fairfield to Vallejo was an automatic resignation. So I asked for more time, please.
Okay.
Continue your thought.
So that was an automatic resignation, and it's up to, and that is per the election code, which is actually specific to the Democratic Party in the election code for the state of California. So for that, we need some sort of ruling from this body to talk about that. Now, the reason I bring this up is not a vendetta or anything like that, is because I found this information And I did not want to hold on to it because it deals with laws. So that's why I brought it up, and that's that.
Thank
The
you.
rest of my report is in there, and you can read it.
So,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair,
May I say, make a comment? Danny, you're on this
I'm here.
meeting, okay? Because I would like to also offer you a chance to speak, just a part of a due process issue I have personally. So if you can rebut this, this is your opportunity. If not, the law is very clear, but this is your opportunity.
Madam Chair, before you go to Danny, can I just remind our delegates that if there is a resignation or an opening in a district, the district delegates select the replacement. So they have an opportunity to put him back in office if they choose to, or someone else. So now just informational, because as I think Margie even sent that out, that the delegates from that area would have to make a selection. And that's been our past practice and continues to be.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Danny?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Yeah, so I've been registered to vote in the same address since I could be registered to vote. I'm only 23. For it sounds like less than 30 days, there was a mix-up due to the fact that my wallet was stolen when my car was broken into. I had to go to the DMV, went to the DMV in Vallejo. I put my boyfriend's address and I clicked the little box that said register me to vote, and it was a mix-up. When it was brought to my attention, it was fixed immediately. I have no intent or had no intent of resignating. And really, what gets to me the most is one, I hope everyone's going through the same process of being searched, having their addresses match, that deep search that just like was done to us. And really above that, it's if y'all, I've heard a lot of different comments already tonight, and I just want to remind folks that the people that you fight for as Democrats on a daily basis are the people that you seem to be pushing out of this party. And I just want that to be clear. I'm a young, brown, queer person who represents a large majority of people who are traditionally silenced. And if y'all are comfortable with I understand the law. So I understand processes. I understand rules. So if this is the case, and that was a mistake that caused that, one, I do ask to be reinstated or for my members to reelect me. But again, just know that this party, it needs to be united now more than ever. And really, you guys are just pushing people out. And I think people need to get their priorities in check.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are two hands raised. And I want to say Danny Bernardini's hand is up, and I believe he was mentioned in the report. So I don't know if you want to allow him to be able to speak like you did Espinosa.
Yes, I'd like to give them both opportunities.
And then, okay, I'm sorry. And then after that, I see Ian Arnold's hand is up as well.
Okay.
And then
Thank
I
you.
would like to respond as well.
Okay. All right, Danny B, right? Bernardini, okay.
So yeah, thank you. Actually, for whatever reason I was looked up, I want to thank you because when I found out that I was being accused of not being registered to vote, first I thought it was crazy. I voted since I was 18. I've lived at the same address for 6 years. And so I went down to the registrar Monday morning and they said I was inactive. And I said, how is that possible? I just voted in March at this address. So something's wrong here. And they said, well, they got a supervisor and they said, we sent you a piece of mail on March 23rd. So that would be what, 20 days, less than 2-3 weeks after the election. And for some reason it came back undeliverable. I don't know why. Maybe my mailbox was full of voter pamphlets or whatever. Because of that, I was put inactive. It's the timing of that is interesting. We'll come back to that later. And so once that happened, I went and I talked to John Gardner as well. He came out and spoke to me and I said, hey, what's the deal? This shouldn't be happening. Why are you even asking?
I lost sound.
I can't
hear him.
We lost sound.
And why is there's been a change in host? What's going on?
Yeah, the change in host just sorry.
So
going on?
I just lost power for a brief moment here at my house, and so I made Karen a co-host while I was trying to fix the issue before, and
Came
we're
up down.
trying to get back. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, okay. Danny, we're sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, complete.
Fine.
Go.
And so I did get that letter. It does say that. And so I'm thankful that I told him, I said, I'm glad I found out now and not the hard way on election day. And they said, well, you would have got a provisional ballot. I said, well, that's not good enough. You have a problem. Check all your inactives. I urge everyone, even if you're a poll voter and you've been that way forever, check your registration. For some reason, when that happened, I had someone look my parents up. My mom's unregistered. I don't know why she's clearing that up now. So please figure it out. The question of the date, that happened in March, the end of March. I was sworn in after that. So somebody didn't do their due diligence when they swore me in. And so they would have found it out then. But apparently they did the background check on me after I pulled Steve Young's endorsement. Interesting timing, because I think whoever swore me in and whoever was supposed to check on that didn't, because they would have let me know when I was sworn in earlier this year. And so I really hope it's not retaliatory. I'm trying to be a part of this group. You know, things happened at the last meeting. I guess we're going to talk about it at a later time, but I guess it did me a favor. And I'm now registered. There's paperwork involved. I believe Jeanette sent it out last night. And so I don't think this issue is going any further. I hope not. If so, we can talk about it more, I guess, but I think this is over.
Thank you. Thank you. We have other comments on this subject? You said,
Madam Chair,
Yes.
really quick. Tom, can you please make me the host? I understand there's a power outage in the area, but I do want to kind of help share that responsibility until you can get up and running again. Thank you. Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Are there others that wanted to comment?
Ian's next.
Oh, Ian, that's right. Go ahead. Ian?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everybody to go online to the Solano County Register of Voters and check your actual voter registration status. It only takes a second. And also, I wanted to say that yeah, we do a pretty good job when we're meeting in person, face to face, but it feels like there's a lot of interruptions. And I would just encourage you to think a little bit about if people won't raise their hands and unmute themselves, then wait till people raise their hands and have whoever the host is unmute them and put them back on mute so people don't just interrupt. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I see Lynette and then Danny Espinosa's hands are up again. I'm sorry, Steve. I saw your
Steve
hand.
Young, yeah.
Yeah, so since Danny called me out, I just wanted to let everybody know I had no clue as to his issue with voter registration at all. I had no part of this. I guess he can accuse me of it, but I just wanted to let everybody know that it wasn't until I started reading the stuff that everybody else saw that I had any clue about this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Who else? You said Steve and who else?
I wanted to say something.
Who's I? Who is this?
Tom
Okay.
Bilbo, sorry.
Okay. Mhm.
I'm on my phone. That's why you can still
Okay.
see me, because I have to log in for Stonewall. But I would like to say that I was doing this as part of setting up our Google Suite so that we could have everyone in a group to make communication better. And they have a field called identification. So my bright idea was to use everyone's voter ID so that it would be unique to citizens here in Solano County. And that's where all this started from. It was not, I did not go out looking for people. I pulled everyone's voter ID to put it in there. It's not something that's public, but it's a way of identifying in a database format your ID. That said, now that Danny has explained that he had to get his license, Danny Espinosa, that he had to get his license replaced, we have seen from the DMV that it was that they have been changing stuff automatically for people. I know original registration dates are being updated and things like that. That is something that I brought to the attention of the voter registrar's office, and they have yet to fix it. So given Danny's explanation, I think that's appropriate that we reinstate him. But that again is up to
the delegates of the district,
yeah,
right? According to the advice from our parliamentarian.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other comments?
Yeah, this is,
Lynette.
my hand is up. I think Tiffany was trying to give me an opportunity to speak. I can also say, which I don't know which Danny said it, but when we sent out information to all the clubs, and the Stonewall Club, whatever the piece that I sent them was sent back. And Tom said, look, we've had that same post office box forever. So when I gave him it, it says undeliverable, that post office box. I know the mail is kind of cuckoo right now, and this was a couple of months ago, and he's like, I don't know what happened. I took it to the post office. They said, no, this is the correct address. We don't know what happened. So the mail and everything else is kind of crazy right now. So I think we need to kind of slow our roll on some of this stuff that's happening, because I have seen mail that should have been delivered said it was undeliverable. And I think Tom's explanation with we've heard many times in the news about the voter registration done by the DMV is not always accurate. And they're changing, some people who think that they're checking the box to be one party or another end up being the party they don't want to be, or no party preference, and they have to go through this whole process again to try to fix it. So this was a learning opportunity for us, and I think we just need to be more careful as we move forward as an organization or central committee. Thank you.
Okay, but since it was on the, it was brought as part of the information officer's report, I'm concerned, does this require an action by the committee?
Are you asking me?
To have him reinstated, or do we take it back and come up with a decision amongst the delegates of that
Well,
district?
based on what he had to do, I mean, his explanation was fine. I think his delegates have heard him, and I hope they will act accordingly. But based on our rules, they have to make a decision.
Okay.
And so they have to, what do you call it?
Caucus.
Yeah,
there's the word I was looking for, caucus, and then bring us back a recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Don Lowry's hand is up. You're recognized, sir.
Yes, would it be appropriate for us to caucus during the meeting so that we can bring the recommendation back and say reinstate him? Because I don't want his seat to go vacant for what seems like an administrative error.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, Don, if we want to take that and at the flexibility of our agenda, maybe before we adjourn, if that supervisory caucus and then bring us back a recommendation, then we can just reinstate at the end.
Yeah, so keep the agenda moving. Yes, thank you. Okay, ex officio reports, congressional.
But Madam Chair, I would ask that you check the whole body to make sure there's no objection to us doing that.
Well, are there any objections? If it's just for the delegates. Thank you. Let's move on. Ex officio reports, congressional. Do we have a report? Is he here?
Those were all submitted as well, so we won't need to talk about those.
All ex officios?
Except I thought Deborah said she had something she wanted to say about Dodds.
No, I did, but I will stand by the support reports that we've submitted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving the agenda, committee reports, bylaws, Lynette.
Yes, the bylaw committee will be meeting. I know that the ad hoc committee of the endorsements, they met on Sunday. I know a couple of other people had pieces that they wanted to bring to the bylaws committee. Right now, I don't anticipate having the bylaws committee meet until right after the election, sometime early November, because we're all working on elections right now. And as my second head as your regional director, I'm sort of busy right now. So I plan to have it probably the week after the election. So by that time, we should have the ruling from the state party on these, the complaints. We'll take the recommendations from the endorsement committee, and I want to thank them for meeting on Sunday. And then I've also received a couple of others. I think Tom sent one. I think that he sent that he wanted. I believe that's what you sent me to be reviewed by the board. And the third piece that's been brought to us is the how we're going to implement the code of conduct into our bylaws. So I will look at the calendar and give you an early date so that you can do a save the date and hold the date for the bylaws committee to convene. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just a FYI, I ran that past Margie. So yeah, Margie, so she's aware of it.
Thank you. Bridget, headquarters report?
Just unmuting.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Bridget Hunley, headquarters report. So our printing came in under budget at about $24.44. Morgan should have that. We have door hangers out to all candidates, I believe, who want them at this point. If anyone needs more candidates, we're doing door hanger management by taking those who aren't being used. And so we have them. If you need more door hangers, let us know. We have dialers starting next week. So if you're a candidate or you know a candidate that wants to be on the dialer, the email is going out from Jeanette, I believe, tomorrow with all the information about this report. But you'll want to get your 3 bullet points to us, and then you can be part of our dialer. We have Biden-Harris signs, if anyone would like those. We have information on that in the report as well. Basically, just refer to the report for any information and contact me with any questions. Thank you.
Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Bridget. Yes.
Madam Chair, Monica Brown has her hand up, and so does Carrie Birdseye.
They're recognized. Go ahead.
My question was to go to the parliamentarian. I didn't get my hand up fast enough, apparently. If I may ask a quick question.
Okay. Lynette?
Is it too late to add items to the bylaws since you're not meeting till after election?
Oh, no,
day?
please. If you have more stuff to send, please send it. I'm keeping a file so that when we do meet, we'll have, because I know stuff is coming up. People are reading the bylaws, which is great, to see areas that we may need to adjust and fix. So yeah, I'm still collecting stuff.
Any more questions for the parliamentarian? Bridget, we got 2 reports that we're dealing with. Headquarters report and bylaws.
Any questions?
Yeah, Carrie Birdseye's hand is up. You're recognized.
Thank you, Tiffany. I wanted to say good job to Bridget because the door hangers look great. Our local races are prominent this year, and we're getting all 6,000 spread across Benicia. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you. And again, if anyone wants to volunteer, let us know. We have lots of opportunities available. Jeanette will be emailing out my combined report, I believe, tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Endorsement
Chair.
committee.
Madam Chair,
yes.
Emily Gollinger has her hand up.
Recognized.
I just wanted to give another shout out to Bridget for the door hangers. They are going to make all the difference in my campaign here in Rio Vista. And thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Great. We're happy to help. Take care.
Okay. Anything else on the Bridget's report? Okay. Endorsement committee is.
Madam Chair, slow down. Stonewall Democrats' hand is up, and then after that, Jeanette Wiley.
Stonewall's
sorry.
recognized.
I had to raise my hand on my phone for Stonewall because I can't raise it as the host. But I wanted to say for the door hangers, Tiffany, you mentioned that someone wanted more door hangers for Vallejo. I still have that box left.
We got them. We got them. Thank you.
No, I got a whole box on my porch.
Oh, okay. I can grab them. I can grab them.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because we got rid of them all, but some people didn't take all of them. And so I was thinking that I'd shop them out, and you had said someone wanted them. So there's 2,000, so people want them. They're still there. Also, I've got for Vallejo and Benicia, I've got Biden and California Democratic Party vote signs. And they're going to be given out at the farmer's market. But if people in Benicia want some, on my porch.
Thank you. Jeanette?
I just wanted to also say, you know, we talked quite a bit about the door hangers and how we were going to get them distributed, but in Vacaville, the candidates are really using them and getting them out as well. So I feel like this is working well, and it was such a big issue. I just want to say it's being resolved in a great way. So thanks to everyone who distributed, and the company for the body for paying for them.
All right, that's it, Madam Chair.
So I'm just sitting back waiting. Okay, Karen Sims, did she get logged back in?
I did.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I want to thank everybody who showed up. Tom, Lynette, Tiffany, Vernil, Corey, Paula, Norm, Powers, Wanda, Rhonda, and Danny Espinoza, who showed up on Sunday to talk about some of the suggestions for the bylaws. The report is fairly long, so I'll try and abbreviate it, but I'll tell you now, I may need a little bit more than 2 minutes. The endorsement committee was not a certified ad hoc committee, but it had been verbally tasked with managing the endorsement process. And that was contained in reports in June and July. But we talked about that there was so much confusion at the meeting on the 26th that obviously we needed to figure out a better path forward in terms of our bylaws so that there's not quite so much confusion. And I'm hoping that that's what we came up with, was proposals that will go to the bylaw committees for working. As a reminder, anyone who wants to join the bylaws committee can and participate in shaping them. So first thing we did is we reviewed the bylaws and standing rules that existed currently. We also took a look at San Francisco, Contra Costa, Riverside, and Yolo County and reviewed those, as well as some material that had been issued by us in previous meetings. And the first thing that we wanted to do was bylaw 905. It says, and you should have this in the report, that the executive board shall review all the return questionnaires. And the recommendation was to change that from executive board to the central committee. It also said the executive board should invite all of the candidates, and we asked that the central committee designee shall invite them rather than having that at the board. We certainly didn't do that this year. The next one, however, the next three, when we got to this part, because there was so much confusion about whether or not it was a committee meeting, a standing meeting, whatever, Tiffany suggested maybe after looking at all the bylaws, what we needed to do is just make it clear. We have several bylaws that say the central committee shall interview each Democratic candidate for office seeking endorsement. The central committee shall vote on which endorsements, if any, it wishes to make. Candidates must receive votes from a majority of central committee members present and voting to be endorsed. And unless the central committee membership adopts a different date, endorsement interviews shall be scheduled for the first regular meeting of the central committee following the close of the filing period. Rather than change all of that, what we did to clarify, it suggested that because there was so much confusion, we would simply restate or make it more comprehensible by rearranging the language that's already there, but putting it first. So it now says the central committee shall interview each Democrat seeking endorsement at a regular or special meeting of the central committee. Candidates must receive votes from a majority of the central committee members present and voting to be endorsed by the central committee. And then it goes on with no further changes. It just rearranges it. We also reviewed the process regarding asking candidate questions and considered district recommendations. The recommendation is to ask the central committee's representatives from the district where the office is located for their questions first. In the endorsement process, we opened it up for 5 questions. And instead of going necessarily to like Benicia, if it was a Benicia race, or to Rio Vista, if it was a Rio Vista race, we allowed them from anywhere. And the suggestion is to prioritize those and ask if the people in that area have any specific questions. And that would more carefully pinpoint certain issues by certain districts. So that was the recommendation. It would require a new standing rule. There was discussion about the need for an agenda. That was my fault. It's very clear in the bylaws that there should be an agenda. The only thing on the agenda can be the endorsements. Everything else has to come either at the end of the meeting or a different meeting, like other people's reports and stuff. But an agenda should have been listed, and that would allow for an opportunity for clubs to list if they have a preference or to suggest an endorsement to the entire committee at the tail end. And so that would be a suggestion too. Currently, the bylaws require a simple majority for endorsement, and the methodology resulted in races without a majority or endorsement. And so we talked about it, and after reading a lot of others, there was something that came up that was called an exhaustive voting system. Exhaustive voting is let's say that you have, uh-oh, am I still there?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Say you had 3 candidates. Well, that's 2 candidates and 1 no preference. What would happen in exhaustive voting is that let's say we took a vote and nobody got a majority, that it was, nobody got 51%. What you would do is take the lowest vote getter out of there. Never no preference, but you could remove the lowest candidate and vote again. You would continue the vote until either 1 candidate or no preference received 51%. So it was a recommendation that we consider exhaustive voting. And Chair, I am going to need a little more time.
2 more minutes, 2 additional, how many? Yeah, 2 additional minutes.
Yeah, so Karen, I gave you the additional 2 minutes on top of the 2 minutes. So you're at exactly 4.
Almost 4. Well, I only have, I have a response to Lynette, and I have 1 more, or 2 more little things that need to be on here. So if I could have a little more time, I'll race.
I would like to grant her because of the importance of this endorsement, and it caused a lot of controversy. So if the committee does not mind, can we extend her a couple more minutes?
Okay. I'll go
yes.
fast. Okay, so exhaustive voting. We are suggesting that doing that. It was an unusual year about getting the candidates' information. Some of that was because of the FPPC backlog, COVID, all the rest of it. And there was some discussion about creating point people throughout the county to help get addresses. I think it's a great idea, whether it goes into a standing rule or it goes into a procedures binder. I have to tell you that as a personally, I would recommend that we always use Zoom for this, simply because we're talking about arranging a room and getting 70 people in and out. And I think that the system actually moved very smoothly with what we had. Plus, if we use exhaustive voting, having the Zoom system with the votes would actually work. At the end of the meeting, there was some discussion about procedures regarding how to revote. And Lynette asked me to come up with a section of the Roberts Rules of Orders I was referring to. And although we don't have a consent calendar, there is a method to pull a vote. And that is the motion to reconsider. It is in 37.3, 37.4, 37.5, on down to about 37.45. So I'm going to just cut it short. It's in that report, but this is basically how it would have worked if we had followed that particular procedure, as I understand it. Morgan would have made a motion to reconsider the endorsement in the Vallejo mayor's race. It would have been seconded. Margie would have decided if we were going to vote on it then or later in the agenda. We could have debated it. We would vote on whether or not we wanted to reconsider the vote. And if proved, the previous vote would be removed and we'd start all over. I think that we could have used Zoom to interview, but that's questionable. I do know that there is a provision over in Contra Costa where they use committees, they have consent calendars. They require a 60% vote in order to approve, and they still require all candidates to be present. And I included that in the bottom of this report. But I really do want to thank everybody for helping. And I'm hoping that we can make some decisions on the bylaws to make this simpler, easier, less confusing, so that we don't struggle so much about getting something done and we can focus on it.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. And thank you for all your efforts in making this happen, because I know I've been there. That's not an easy job. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions for Karen in her report?
Lynette, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Karen. I was wondering what you were referring to. So actually, that would not have been the appropriate. It would have been what's called renew. If we had used that process.
I'm sorry. I understand that there's some discussion differently, and I had that, but I don't think that we need to discuss.
I just wanted to let you know, because reconsideration has to happen in the meeting that it occurs. Renew happens when it happens after the meeting.
Actually, I didn't say reconsideration, and that's not it. it is always available for you to do this method. But I don't think we need to talk about it here. This is going to be referred to the bylaws committee, and the bylaws can get into the specifics of it. I have spent more time reading Roger's Rules of Orders now than I ever have in my entire life. And I can tell you that it's reconsider. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving on with the agenda, old business. CADM's training for candidates. Now, Margie did tell me, and Ian, if she told you something further, that she's still waiting for their response. She did put the response up, but she said their priority is November 3rd. So no one has gotten back to her yet. Code of conduct, I don't know what that's about. And I don't have a name by it, so
Right, that was supposed to be referred to the bylaws committee, the code of, well, from what I know, that I was being referred, that we come up with some language. Jeanette's hand is up in the window.
Yes, Jeanette.
So in the minutes, which need to be redone, I do have the names of people who said that they wanted to serve on that code of conduct.
Oh, it's a committee. Okay.
Yes, I know.
That's
So
a committee.
if you looked at the minutes or want to, and you are interested in helping with that when it gets established and your name is not on there, please let me know that, or send it to the chair, and we'll get your name added. So I just wanted to say that those were the names from last time, so that when we get that going, we'll be able to add it.
Thank you. So the change on the agenda is Code of Conduct Committee. Okay. Okay. Any questions on that?
This is Lynette. The Code of Conduct Committee was supposed to be under the bylaws, to be part of the bylaws committee.
I just wanted to correct my agenda. Okay.
But people volunteered specifically for that area.
Yes.
Thank you.
I see Tom's hand is up. Yes.
So I believe that whenever Margie and I were talking, along with Jeanette, that it was she wanted an ad hoc committee set up.
Well, that's what Jet said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeanette.
that is tasked with a certain task to come up with the procedures for code of conduct that would be made up of non-executive board members.
Okay, so that's different than what Margie told me. So you guys talk probably more often than I do. So whatever.
Okay, but it's still a committee. It's still about development, creating a committee for that.
But I think we need to establish the committee as an ad hoc committee now, because that is not in the, hold on, I need to put my kitty down. I'm not gonna throw her. She's being put down nicely. But that's in our bylaws, is to set up an ad hoc committee. They have to be tasked with a certain thing and a timeline to come up with it.
Does it require the committee, or can't the chair create an ad hoc committee?
We have to vote to create the committee.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes the chair can do it at her discretion. So I'm asking.
But for this kind of thing, I think it would go along with the audit committee, since it's of such a thing, based on what that. So I would like to make a motion that we set up a ad hoc committee with 2 co-chairs and 5 other members that are all elected, and 2 club members. So 3 elected members and 2 club representatives.
It's a big committee.
And have the chair appoint the co-chairs.
So
Ian, you're recognized.
I would like to make that motion. Or second, I would second that motion.
Just to.
Oh, hold on, I gotta set up.
To create an ad hoc committee for the code of conduct.
Lynette, you're recognized.
I think all of the parameters that Tom has put forward are a little limiting to the body. I think if you want to have an ad hoc committee, that's fine, but I don't think we should limit who can serve on that committee, because it's a very hot button issue for most of the clubs and many of the members of the Central Committee.
So I will amend my motion to say that others can join, but it would require the committee to have them. The purpose of this committee is to come up with a document, not to do anything else. So that's why whenever I said 5 members plus 2 co-chairs, it was so they could be focused without a bunch of people being there, but they would always bring the document back for us to review and make changes to.
All right. Okay, so the amendment or the motion that's on the floor is that we create an ad hoc committee for the code of conduct. That committee would consist of the recommendation, 2 co-chairs, 5 elected members, and their purpose will be to create a document and bring it back to Central Committee. Am I stating that correctly?
That is correct.
No, well, I thought you also wanted 2 club members too.
Yeah, so it's 3. Yeah, thank you, Lynette. 3. The way I put it was 3 elected members and 2 club, two club representatives.
2 club, 3 elected for 5
And open
members.
to all.
Yeah, but everyone can they can all come in, but those folks are the ones that's actually working on the document.
Okay, so you're gonna put your poll up?
But yeah, too busy.
Hold on, Jeanette. Hold on, you guys. Jeanette has her hand up and she's waiting to be recognized. Go ahead.
So at one point you said non-e-board member, so I wanted to clarify, is that still part of your motion, or are you amending it so it can be central board members as well?
No, that is part of my motion, and the whole reason is so that the membership will develop this, and then we vote as a whole.
So you're saying set up an ad hoc committee with 2 co-chairs, 5 members, 3 of which are elected, 2 of which are appointed from the clubs, all of which are non-e-board members, to create a document for the code of conduct.
Yeah, and the 2 co-chairs would be, the way the ad hoc committee is it's selected by the chair. So that's why I worded it this way, because I basically looked at the audit committee and plagiarized that.
And speaking of which, that's the same thing. I mean, if you sound like we want this committee to create a code of conduct, I think there's so many codes of conduct that we can look at and model ours after. We're not starting at ground zero to come up with a code of conduct. So it should be, just standard language. The issue is not just coming up with a code of conduct, but it's then implementing that and using that the way we treat each other in our meetings as well.
Any other discussion on this before we go for the vote?
And so I had mentioned it at the very beginning that it was for 9 months. So it's like a baby.
9 months? That's
because according to our bylaws, you have to give them a set time.
Lynette, you're recognized.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with a committee of the Central Committee being members that are not members of the Central Committee. I'm very concerned with that because that's our task and this is our group.
Who's not a part of the Central Committee? You
Yeah,
said
so
3 elected members and 2 club members, appointments. Who's not a part of it?
No, he said maybe I'd heard
non-board, non-executive board members.
Non-executive, okay. I heard it, Central Committee members, that's fine.
Any other discussion or clarification?
Michelle Pellegrin, you're recognized.
I'm wondering if Tom would accept an amendment to this, which would be to include Robert's Rules of Order training, or perhaps that's something different. I don't know.
I think
That's under the California DEMS training. That's part of that too.
We're going to be doing that, Michelle.
And that's for all of the committee, right?
Yes.
That's the whole entire committee.
Yes.
Okay.
Day of training. Yes.
Okay, great.
Rhonda, you're recognized.
So I went back to look at the minutes, and it clearly stated that this group of individuals would be not only creating a code of conduct, but looking at deeper training and deeper discussions around some of the issues that we had. So I want to know, with the formulation of what Tom is suggesting, how do we ensure that there's going to be diversity of thought in the selection?
So I would suggest that everyone can come to the meeting, but the people who are actually crafting the document. The meetings are always open to all members of the party. So, and that means they can comment and, you know, provide input. So that's, we're not limiting that. So in my profession, we have these work groups and they get input from everything else. But the work groups are the ones that they pull all that together. So it's just to keep that work group as a focus group of individuals is really all. And that's the same way we do it with the audit committee. There's people appointed to that and they have 90 days to do the audit and blah, blah, blah.
Any other questions for Tom? Can we move forward with the vote, the poll? And Bridget put something in the chat about working with the Biden campaign to contact her.
Okay, so just before I launch this poll, I'm just gonna post it in chat. Let's make sure that, because I know that people get anxious about the wording of polls. Any feedback?
So I just think that just in order to be
Who's
perfectly
talking?
clear- I'm sorry, this is Ian.
Okay, you're recognized.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I think the wording would be clearer if we say 3 elected members and 2 club representatives.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I missed the word club. Okay, because that's what we said. All right. Okay, anything else? All right. Coming at you. I'm really learning to hate Zoom. So far, only 18 people have voted. Now it's 21, 20, 24.
I'm co-hosting with you, Tom, so I wasn't allowed to vote. But I see the poll.
More. Oh. Do you see the poll now?
Yeah, I can see it, but it's I see the results, but I vote yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I forgot all about. That's why I signed in on my phone at Stonewall so I can. Okay, has everyone voted? We have 28 votes. I'm going to be ending. If you haven't voted, please say something. I'm going to minute 15 now. Okay. So 86.2% are 25 votes yay, 4 votes nay. Madam Chair.
Thank you. And that was a quorum, since 44 people didn't vote. We did have a quorum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on the agenda. New business. November and December meeting dates. November and December, both dates, our meeting is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Wednesday before Christmas Eve. I think, didn't that happen last year too, or a year before or something?
Year before.
So we need to pick a date that we can meet, or well,
Sorry, we just had another freaking power outage here. I'll raise my hand about this. Sorry.
Sorry, Monica, you're recognized, and then
So tradition has been, and I don't have the bylaws in front of me. The tradition has been we don't meet in November, December. Normally, we have some sort of a holiday party around like the second week of December. Sometimes that's when we vote to go to the state convention is usually when we do that, because there's certain time frames that things have to be done. And then if you don't make it there, then you can always run for the Dem election to go to the state party. I have no idea with COVID how that'll work out. I'm just saying what's been past practice. So
Thank you.
So that's, I'll be honest with you, to the chair, that's how I would frame it for this year also.
Okay. Any other comments? Because I'm with you, Monica, because that's how we've done it. Any other comments before we go
I
for a
have my
motion?
hand up.
Yes.
I would propose that we're not going to be able to meet in person, so we will be Zooming, but I think we should just consider having a Zoom cocktail party and do the voting thing there, get it out of the way, and then enjoy some music and cocktails, because it's.
We're talking about 2 months, Tom.
Yeah.
I know in December, that's usually our holiday thing. It's, Zoom.
Yeah.
But
And that, what I'm saying is that we just have the holiday Zoom party, because I'm not
well,
going
you
to
don't
go
cook,
meet with a whole bunch of
obviously.
people.
You're not doing the turkey.
No,
the
I'm talking
Thanksgiving.
about for our meeting. I'm sorry. But
Okay, all right,
we're
get
not gonna be
serious
out of
again.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're not gonna be
November,
out of COVID.
in November, let's take 1 month at a time. In November is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is traditionally, and yes, we have the tradition, past practices has been that we do not meet. We are dark in November.
Danny.
And this is the year of COVID, so I understand that we may do things different, but that still doesn't negate the holiday. Next, go ahead, Tiffany.
Danny I'm sorry, Danny Espinosa, then Monica, then Paula. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I was actually just wondering, so do I remain as an inactive member until December then, or how's
We'll
that
get back
process?
to you on Danny. We'll get back to you.
We're gonna take care of you tonight, Danny.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
All right,
You'll know an
Monica, then
So
Paul.
I move that the holiday Zoom activity would be around the second the second week in December. I can't pick an actual date, but that would be normally where we would, again, as I stated. And I'm happy to work with whomever we need to look and make sure. Oh, I hate when you guys do that. I don't want to see myself. Okay. We'd have to make sure that we have swearing in ceremonies. We need to make sure we don't pick a date where people get sworn in. We need to make sure we don't have a city council meeting. So there's lots of different things. So if the second week doesn't work, possibly the first week. So I just would like a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that we pick a date and we can do it in the next couple weeks. And it's possible, since Paula had her hand up, that she might have something to add to it or second it.
Okay, I just want to throw out the dates. You said in December, we're looking at, if we do keep it on a Wednesday, it'll be December 8th or the 15th.
Well, but again, part of it, if I may, through the chair, is that sometimes people get sworn in. There's also the Jewish holiday.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's you know what I mean? So there's different things, and I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Okay.
I would definitely try to keep it on a Wednesday, but again, because of those parameters, sometimes that just doesn't always happen.
That's true.
So Madam Chair, the dates that we have that would be prior to Christmas would be Wednesday, December 2nd, or Wednesday, December 9th as alternates, or we could even stretch it and do December 16th, which is on a Wednesday. So those are our three options.
Sometimes we've done it on a Friday. Again, we do have the Jewish holiday. I'm just throwing it out. We just need to be a little flexible. We'll let everybody know ahead of time. Just throwing it out.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Because we still don't have a motion. Any other discussion?
Yeah, that was I said I move.
A second? I need a second then.
Well, Paula had her hand
Paul-
up.
Sorry, Monica, let me help with that. Paula had her hand up.
Okay, so it's actually Standing Rule 6.01 that says we don't have the November or December meeting, but we have this special holiday meeting, and we bring it up at the September general membership meeting. And I second Monica's motion.
Thank you.
Kevin McNamara, you're recognized. Kevin?
Sorry, there.
It's okay.
Hanukkah begins on December the 11th. So we may want to do our event before that. So the 9th would probably be the better day. The 16th is during Hanukkah, and
That's true. And the 23rd is Christmas. Thank you.
23rd is the night before Christmas Eve. So the 9th or that week around the 9th. I don't have a calendar of the dates for public events, but the 9th would probably be the better Wednesday than the 16th.
Okay. Any other comments before we go for our vote? Any other comments?
I'm sorry, this is Nancy Petrowski. Our electricity went out on the Hill, so Michelle and I both, oh, Michelle's back on. Okay, great. Just want to make sure one of us was here to vote on whatever you're voting on.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw her hand. Thank you.
Okay, so.
Michelle, hold on,
Yeah.
Vernell. Michelle's hand is up.
Yeah, hi, I'm sorry, the power went out here and could
We
you,
understand.
could you repeat what we're voting on?
We're voting on the date of our December holiday gathering.
Okay. Thank you.
Paula told us that the standing rule says that we do not meet in November, traditionally in November and December, but we do have an event a holiday event in November, in December. Get it right. So that's what we're voting on.
Thank you.
However, if it's a standing rule, why are we voting? Voting on the date, right? So
yes.
Okay.
We need to get the date. We need to establish the date.
So the 10th, then the 9th was thrown out, but I know the Hanukkah, I want to respect that. So the date that's been thrown out so far is December 9th. Is that the date we want to add to our motion? Monica? She says she doesn't have a calendar.
My only concern is, and that's why I typed it into the chat, is I'm only concerned is people get sworn in at different times because we've obviously just had an election. And so my only concern is I'm happy to pick the second Wednesday, but what if it turns out that is a night somebody say in Vacaville is having their swearing in? And we just want to make sure that everybody has worked on their campaign. So if it's good with everybody, yes, that's a great date, but I'll need to get a hold of the party to make sure, are they doing a convention? If so, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're flexible enough that we pick that date, but if, and we let everybody know, is that okay? If so, I'm happy with the motion.
Okay, well, let's go with that and then we'll see what, if we have to change, just be open, that it may be open to a change.
Okay.
Are we okay with that? I'm not doing this in a vacuum. Are we okay with that?
No, I said okay.
So Vernell, Stonewall, Tom, and Don Lowry have their hands up, and then we got to move it. Just need a date.
I was just gonna ask to make a friendly amendment that we pencil in the 9th, but we allow the executive board to make sure that it's good for everyone.
Yeah, well, that was the flexibility issue Monica and I were discussing. Yes.
But we need it said that way for the motion.
Okay. All right, will you type up the motion? Who's next? Tiffany?
Don.
Yes, the tentative.
Yeah, I was just going to say that to the best of my recollection, the bodies which typically are sworn in December usually meet either on Tuesdays or Thursdays. So I would probably say if we Wednesday, but I would suggest that the friendly amendment be accepted so that the board has flexibility.
Thank you. Okay, so Tom, have you written the amendment? I mean, the motion, where is he? Power out?
Sorry, I was on mute.
His avatar's up, Vernil. It says Solano Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at have a holiday gathering,
Oh, that was you? Okay.
yeah. It's easier to type on my PC versus on my phone, which is Solano. Or Stonewall, rather. So is that okay with you, Monica?
Did you say tentatively?
Yeah, if we throw in the word, somebody put in tentatively, we heard it verbally. When we've had the conversation, I think everybody will remember. It's not,
It's stone.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Is the poll, did you put it up yet?
Oh, I'm putting it up right now.
Okay.
Has everyone voted that wanted to? Okay. I'm gonna give it to a minute because I just saw some come in.
And Tom, can you record my vote as a yes, please?
Yes.
No. Thank you.
Put it in chat to everyone because this is part of the thing. I hate Zoom. Okay. Yeah, we got a party.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, moving on with the agenda. The next new business, it says, is the formal challenge filed with the state party. And I just want to caution people, just talking from my state investigative head, that the state has accepted this and they're asking for witnesses. So I would caution you to be very careful on how do you speak on this for the confidentiality, and everyone involved in this central committee are potential witnesses. So I want to say that. Go ahead. I don't know whose name is by this.
I asked that it be put on.
Okay. All right. Okay.
This is Brenda Crawford.
Okay.
And thank you for the warning. And really, only thing that I wanted to say is a couple of things. I take exception to the way that Lynette framed the challenge as the complaint. A complaint means that there are a bunch of disgruntled people sitting around complaining. This is a legal challenge to what we feel was an illegal process, and certainly an undemocratic process. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but the challenge has been submitted. I am the lead proponent of that challenge. That gives me no joy at all. I was born and raised in Mississippi, and I know the power of when people have been denied the right to vote. And so I stand on that as being a sacred principle, that we maintain the integrity of the vote no matter what. And so I am the lead proponent on the legal challenge, along with about 8 or 10 other people, and we await the ruling of the party. And it is unfortunate that there are members on this committee who felt so desperate that they had to steal an endorsement for their candidate rather than adhere to what was a fair and equitable process. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, announcements. 2 minutes. Do we have any announcements from the clubs, floor?
Lynette's hands up.
Yes. The wording from the state party is a challenge. That's what was submitted, is a challenge. And I think that's how I characterized it. I hope I didn't say the wrong words, but that when you submit something to the state party, it's considered a challenge, and then it goes to the CRC, who then reviews it. So that if I used a different word, that's the word I should have been using, that it's the Crawford challenge that is before the state party right now. And then
thank you. You called it a complaint, but thank you very much for calling it a
challenge. It's a challenge. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And then we need to go back to the district from where Danny was. They were going to caucus and bring us back a recommendation before we go to announcements. Madam Chair.
Oh, I was gonna hold him back and we discuss it. Okay. So I'm gonna hold everybody on while we go to a different room.
I was gonna say, Tom, can you do we have the capability of creating the Zoom room? Because I don't see it on my end.
Yeah.
And would you identify yourself, District 3? Delegates and alternates, I need to know.
That would be Bonnie Hamilton, Jeanette
Quinlan.
Wiley, you, Vernell.
No,
I'm sorry.
Jeanette's not
I'm
in
sorry.
there.
I'm sorry. It was
Steve,
my mistake.
Bonnie, Wanda, me. Yes.
Madam Chair, does the secretary have that information? Who's in that? Okay, so have her read it for you.
So 3 is Vernell Brumfield, and her alternate is Wanda Williams. Danny Espinoza does not have an alternate, but he's part of that group. Bonnie Hamilton does not have an alternate, and Steve Quinlan. So Steve, Bonnie, Vernell, and Wanda would be the people ruling on Danny.
Okay, can we go to an alternate room?
Yeah, let me see how to invite you to it. Tiffany, I set up a room.
How do you set up a room?
No, I have set up one.
Oh, okay.
Right, people.
So what you do is where it says launch room or something like that, you should be able to name the room.
Yeah, I got it named as District 3.
So what you do is on the very end of that, you roll your mouse over it. You should be able to click on that little screen or click on it, and you should be able to see a drop down of every member that's in here and then throw them into the room.
This is crazy.
I do this with students, so it's like I'm the Zoom queen. Gently throw them. Yes, Carrie, gently. Jenna, if you need to recess for 5 minutes to recess yourself, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, this is potty break.
Don, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I asked that the parliamentarian check the bylaws. I thought that it said all such committee members resident in the district, not just representing the district. Could I get clarification, please?
Yeah, hold on, Lisa. What you have done before, and I don't have the bylaws right at my beck and call, so somebody who does, you have always caucused and then come back. So you're saying that you say all the residents of that area? It's the central committee members that made the decision.
No, what I'm saying is all the members who are residents of District 3, not just the people who are elected for District 3.
Huh.
So I'm just asking that the bylaws be checked.
Yeah, I'll check them right now.
I have my hand up and I have the bylaws in front of me.
Oh, great, Paula.
So it's it's this is Paula, it's 310, and Don is right. That the central committee members resident in the district where the vacancy exists shall caucus and nominate a candidate to fill the vacancy, provided that should the member in question have appointed an alternate, which hasn't happened, ... And then we vote on that recommendation, but Don is right. It's all of the members in District 3.
Oh, well, it's not that many of us. So who's all in District 3? Don, I know that you're there. Who else? That's why it's hard to get alternates.
If you, I was gonna say, can we, it would be helpful if all of District 3 would raise, you said, like, get elected. If everybody in District 3 would just raise your hand, that way we can, once we get the room together, it'd be easy for Tom to be able to gently throw you guys in your caucus room.
So I see Don, Steve, Bonnie so far.
I had mine's up.
So the only ones that weren't called was Don Lowry, I think, from the list that Jeanette read. Do you need to repeat the room for you, Tom? I mean, the members.
Hold on, we're technically challenged here. At least I am. And Tiffany's trying to help. Just like do this after the meeting and stay on.
So I was getting ready to say, Tom, I lost the screen. I mean, I don't see the button at the bottom when you gave me control of it. So maybe we could do this. Could we put the rest of the members in a waiting room while they go ahead and caucus, like recess for, like Jenna said, for maybe 5-10 minutes? Or
I was going to say, can we do this immediately after the meeting and just have the
And let
members
them
in
hang on?
three? Yeah.
Send an email out as to the decision?
Yeah, we can still
Like the
record it.
parliamentarian says different.
I'd be more comfortable if it was done today.
I want Paula to read what the rules say again, because I thought we had to ratify their recommendation. That's why.
Oh, that's right.
Meeting.
I just wanted to say that Wanda Williams is also on the call, and she is in District 3 as well.
Yeah, her name was mentioned, yes.
And the body does have to vote on the recommendation.
That's why I was keeping you in the meeting so that we could ratify your recommendation. So Tiff, if the chair, could you guys do this by phone maybe? Like,
you know, I think we could can you do just a breakout room, Tom?
That's what we're trying to.
Okay.
So there's no capability to do a breakout room on our Zoom account. With, like, I've looked to try to find it. Tom has tried to look to try to find it. So my suggestion was,
can't everybody just mute themselves except the people that are supposed to be caucusing, and we can discuss it?
So next time, if you want to speak, if you interrupted me,
sorry,
keep our hand up. Thank you.
Okay, we gotta find a solution.
So can we put the people that are not in the caucus in the waiting room and let them do their thing, and then we come back? Okay. Yeah. So that would be great.
I can't go in the waiting room though.
Hello.
As the host.
So what you'll have to do is you'll have to turn over host capabilities to Vernile, because she's in that caucus. Would be great. And then when we're able to come back in, she knows how to let people back in the room. Nancy, I see your hand. Give me just a second to get my thought out. That way, when she's allowed to come back in, we can just do it that way. Nancy.
Okay, so all of this is streaming live. So the point of pulling the committee out doesn't really make much sense because everybody's going to see it anyway. So if we just let the people who have to vote talk, we're good. It's all going to be recorded anyway. And it's public, right? So why don't we just let the people who have to talk? Because it's all going to be recorded anyway. Right? It's all being recorded, yes?
But I don't think Danny needs to be here. we're talking about him like he's not here.
And I honestly, I don't think our deliberations as a district need to be recorded. That's our deliberation. So, I mean, that could be
Defined.
challenged, but it doesn't seem, I mean, I have a Zoom account. I can invite all of you to a quick Zoom offline if you want, and then we can come back on. It's up to you.
That's fine with me, Bonnie.
And then I still have the conference call number too. You want to give us how are we going to do this, Bonnie?
Monica, you have okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I just was going to say, why don't we mute like Stephen said, and then all the rest of us just stop our video, and then, you know, we count 10 minutes and we all put ourselves back on.
Well, you're
I agree. The whole purpose of
our deliberations.
is confidential.
We can stop the live stream momentarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say just stop the live stream. I would just prefer to let them have the room and go sit in the waiting room.
That's great, Tiffany, but if you don't know how to get everybody back, that's a problem. So I think I think going everybody on mute and go onto your avatar or close your whatever, you guys make your decision quickly and come back in.
How do we monitor who's on, off, and who's not? And this is Wanda. I mean, I think if everybody's in a waiting room, it's easy to bring people back from a waiting room. I mean, you just do admit, right? I mean,
we should be able to see, Wanda, who's on the call with us. We'll be able to see who's here and who's not here.
Okay.
And we'll make sure it'll be okay.
So are you putting it in the chat, Bonnie?
Putting what in the, I was just going to put, if people are wondering what District 3 is, it's the supervisor district for Jim Spearing. It's not the congressional district. So did we decide we were going to put folks in the waiting room in the meantime, Tom? Is that what we decided?
Actually, can you bring people into your Zoom? You
Okay,
have your meeting and then come back.
Let me do that really quick. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we did not have Zoom rooms. It's an added piece.
No worries. You know what? Oh, it is an added piece. I don't know why. I've got it on mine. So you go into the participants. If you're the host, you should be able from there to see how to do it. I think you have to
It didn't show up. Yeah, it didn't show up, Bonnie. It would normally be in the bottom screen like it is normally when I have it, but not for this account.
But for the sake of time, let's Bonnie, you want to let us, since he said he can't.
Yeah, so what I can do, I believe I have to leave in order to
and send us an invite. Yes,
I can send an invite through email. I believe I have everyone's email. So I'm gonna go off, and then I will come back, okay? Or I will send an email.
Okay. In the meantime, let's work with the agenda and then talk about the announcements.
Okay.
Vernell, before we leave, can you make me a host?
I don't, am I a host?
Yes, I made you a host. Just right click on Solano Democrats and make it a host.
Solano Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Any announcements? I'm sorry. Any announcements?
Rhonda Smith had an announcement.
You should have received the flyer for this already, but I just want to reiterate that the Community Democratic Club is hosting a Vallejo School Board Candidate Forum tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Area 2 will be from 7 to 7:50 p.m. and Area 4 7:50 to 8:40. So all are welcome to that school board forum.
Any other announcements?
I wanted to announce that Stoma will be interviewing our last city council candidates tomorrow at our regular meeting. It's going to be Fairfield and Sassoon.
Okay, and also BWAPA is having an educator awareness dealing with the propositions and measures. Lori Wilson, Mayor Lori Wilson is sponsoring this. Oh, am I on mute? No. And it's Saturday, September 26th, 2020, and all are welcome, and she really would like those that are running for an office to attend.
This is Lynette. The ADM elections are the first 2 weekends in January, and there'll be training coming up soon. There was an opportunity to sign up to be a convener, but more so, the conveners will also need volunteers, and they haven't quite decided because we don't know what we're going to be in January of how they're going to run these elections, but they're planning for both face-to-face and virtual. They're suggesting that we have polling places, and I'm thinking for Region 2, the best thing would be is a parking lot, and you drive by like you do your taxes on that midnight hour and drop them in there. The state party will be counting all the votes. There will be no counting of the votes that day, and then we'll be sending them forward. So if you're in AD 14 or 11, you can also, and you plan to run, that's great. But you can also work at 4 and 16 if you're available, because we are going to need a lot of volunteers that day to help collect, because we're also doing verification for people that have not pre-registered to vote for the ADEMs. The party chair, Rusty, is trying to, we had a large turnout the last time, and he's trying to increase that even more, even in the COVID situation we're in. So as more information comes forward, I think Margie sent it out to the Central Committee that we're looking for volunteers, and I'll continue to keep you posted on that.
There's a question, Lynette. What's a convener, if we could get a definition of that?
That's the person who sets up the meeting, finds the location and all that. They work closely with the regional director, making sure that it's all the accessibility. We have to make sure that the insurance is in place, and that's what the regional director does for you to make sure that it happens. The last time Bonnie did District 11, I think it was 11 or 14, can't remember which one. And then several people helped with 84, and then over in 8016 was the Contra Costa people helped with that one. So, but we still need a lot of people to help make this happen.
Okay, Kelly.
One other thing, if you want more information, go to the cadem.org and it'll explain more of what that responsibility is. And it's kind of fluid right now.
Any other announcements?
I would, this is Wanda. Tiffany, I would like to be recognized to the floor.
You're recognized.
Thank you. Bonnie has set up the Zoom. So if you check your email, you could transition now. Thank you.
Jana, go ahead. I see your hand. They're trying to get you in.
Just curious, Garamendi, and I live in Sparings District. Should I be involved in that meeting? So question again, I live in Jim Sparings District, District 3, correct? And I represent
Yes.
Garamendi. Should I be in that meeting? Yes?
Yeah, they're trying to get you in. Check your email.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And then Kelly, Kelly, you're over in the same district, or do you have an announcement?
No, I just wanted to make two quick announcements.
Okay, go ahead.
Just two things. One, thank you, Central Committee, for your endorsement of my school board campaign here in Vacaville. I really appreciate y'all. And I do have 2,000 door hangers, and we're starting to do phone calls. So if anyone has free time, let me know. I know everybody's working on different campaigns, but if you have folks in Vacaville that have time to phone bank or anything like that, it's a really tight race. It's seriously, there's a difference of 43 people between Democrats and Republicans in my district. So it's going to be a tight race. And then also I wanted to let everyone know about an event that I'm hosting on Saturday here in Vacaville. It's a vigil and rally for our daughter's futures. It's a vigil for RBG, the notorious RBG. And a lot of the local folks are going to have their campaign stuff out. We'll have the Democratic Party door hangers out, and it's going to be an open mic, masks required, and you can bring kids, whatever. But it's at 6 o'clock at Andrews Park here in Vacaville, and we're just going to get together and share our grief for the loss of Justice Ginsburg, and it should be a nice event. So just wanted to let you guys know about it, and that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Kevin, you're recognized. Kevin, your turn on your mic. You're on mute still.
Yeah.
There you
go. My hand was up from before when they were trying to decide how to do their District 3 meeting. They could have just done a group phone call and done it that way, but they've got their own solution now, so.
Yeah, it's done. All right. Are there any other announcements? Jeanette, I see your highlighter in the
I actually have my hand raised as well too. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to say that the League of Women Voters is setting up forums, and the forum tomorrow for my city council race is at 5:30. There's 4 people in the race, but at this current time, only 2 people are going to be in it, me and another person. So tomorrow, if I have anything to send out, I'll send that link just so if anybody wants to watch that at 5:30. But I appreciate the League of Women Voters who's doing a lot of forums. So that's my other little news.
Thank you. Ian, your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to remind folks, especially now that the air quality is a whole lot better than it was in the last couple of weeks. Sunday, 6 p.m., Andrews Park, Black Lives Matter rallies. Bring your mask, bring your signs, bring your water.
All right. If there aren't any other announcements, we'll take a stretch break and wait for the decision from District 3. Please stay on the call. Don't log out because I can't let you back in. Take a stretch break, go get some water. We'll be done with this. Thank you guys so much for being awesome and who you are.
We had a quick meeting and we unanimously voted to reinstate Danny Espinosa.
Okay, we are
That's
on
a
a,
recommendation coming to the body. Yes.
yeah, Vernell, we're on a small break. So people
Oh,
should be
okay.
coming back.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, water.
Okay, y'all, come on back.
Ding, ding, ding. And once you come back, can you mute your mics? Because I'm getting feedback now.
Tell Danny we're back.
Yeah. All right, can we get started with the last portion of this?
Okay. Kevin, were you designated as the speaker for that committee, or I can do it as the chair? That it was overwhelmingly stated that we will recommend to the body to reinstate Danny Espinosa to the Democratic Central Committee, Solano County. That's our recommendation. And it's coming from a committee. I believe it doesn't require a second.
You are correct. You are correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we can go
I got a
straight
poll
for a
ready.
discussion or a vote. Okay.
No, just come and vote.
Okay, I'm launching now.
No, Danny, you don't vote.
We have 23 members voting so far.
Tom, my vote is recorded in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, I showed 38 participants. All those who want to vote, have they voted? Alternates do not vote if your delegate is here.
"25 people have voted. I will end polling in 7 seconds. Motion passes. Welcome back, Danny.
You're back, Danny. Okay, going back to the agenda, did we complete the announcements while we were on break?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, we need a motion to adjourn then.
Kevin, you have your hand back up.
Second.
Bye.
Can I get a motion? Oh. Adjourn the meeting, okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you for your patience and putting up with our technical issues. Thank you. Good night and be safe and stay healthy.
Wash your hands.
Wear your mask. Good night, everybody.
Sanitize.
Good night. Good night.